Okay, today we're going to talk about strum patterns geared primarily for beginners and for intermediates. But if you're an expert, you better know these strum patterns. They're very basic, but so important. Phrasing is important, and strum patterns are important. That one I just played is a Celtic pattern. That's over 2 measures. Don't worry about that. We're going to cover it later in complete detail. But right now we're going to talk about holding your pick. And I'm playing with a pick, but you can also play with your finger. A lot of other ways to play too. So today we're covering with a pick because I'm thinking that a lot of people taking studying the course today are beginners. So you hold it. Basically, here's a pick, a standard pick. This is an old Dunlop. This is a pretty narrow pick. I prefer narrow picks personally because that's just what I always started using when I first got going. And so I'm going to hold it between my thumb and my index finger like yay. And I'm going to strike the strings down like there. I got a little delay on there. I'm going to be talking about effects pretty soon, probably. This is using through an Oceans reverb and a Nemesis delay and an acoustic amp with some effects, some reverb in it. So that's the way you hold your pick. Now, it's very important whenever you're strumming. We don't want to rake it like I'll play a G. That's real loud. That's like shouting, and you're shouting at your audience. And sometimes you do want to shout, but the one thing is whenever you're playing like that, you're usually speeding up and playing fast and the big parts of the song that you're trying to play. Then you turn around and you also play the, Okay, and that's going to be more piano or PP or PPP. PPP is as quiet as you can play. See the difference there? Completely different feel to your song, and you can even mix them up. So practice. Sometimes just play as quiet as you can. I'm sure that you've pretty much got your open chords. As you're practicing your open chords, so you're going from a G to a C to a D to a C. So as you're doing that, practice. Work on your dynamics. It's so important how you phrase your song. And I'll tell the expert, I need to work on that all the time, my own self. So you're going to relax your hand in your wrist so you don't sound stiff. If you got I'll play it with just a really. That's completely now relax. So you got to relax when your wrist. When you go down on a 6-string chord, and you know the difference now between a 6, a 5, and a 4, you're going to hit all the strings. When you go down to 5, you're going to hit those 5, 4, 5, and 6. It's a G, C, and D progression. Very good to practice on because that's one of your main guitar keys is in the key of G. So when you come up, you're going to rake them up. 2 or 3 strings is all you need. Now if you're going for a different sound, if every strum, I'm going to play it with just 2 strings coming up, 2 or 3. Now I want to play it raking a few more. It's hitting about 3 and 4. So notice the phrasing is different. We want to play, you never play the same phrase, same way. We're playing a verse and you're going back and you're doing it and repeating it. Play it a different way. You know, play it heavier at first, and then 2, 3 strings coming up, then 4 strings on your upstroke. Now, you're going to go down, up, 1 and 2 and down, up, 3 and 4 and. So on the beat would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Up stroke is and. So the downbeat is silent. So now this is for 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now 16 notes is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. It's difference there, but we're not working on 16th notes. We're just working on 8th notes. It comes out to a measure in 8. That's called common time. In 4. I'm going to take 4. You know, we're in 4. So that, you know, all those interchangeable terms, people use different things. 4/4, common time. Okay, so that's all we're going to work on today. But know that 3/4 and all sorts of other time signatures are going to be strummed differently. But primarily, you know, we're going to be in starting out kind of. We're going to be in 4/4 common time. So we've covered relaxing, going up. When you go on up strings, you kind of go an upward motion. Okay, up. So always use a metronome. Always use a metronome when you're practicing, especially strum patterns and stuff like that, because, you know, staying even with the tempo is so important. You're going to be running away from your singer or speeding up on your song, and then that really hard passage gets to you and the wheels come off, man. I've had it happen to me before on more than one occasion. Even in competitions, I've speeded up and speeded up and speeded up. And when I get to that, I need to make a U-turn. I'm going to run the rail right off the rails. You know, don't be like me. Use a metronome all the time. And I do use a metronome myself, constantly. So start slow. Whenever you got a metronome, you know, start it off on 40, 50, 60. Work your way up until you can down, up, the click, and. So you're down on the click, up off the click. So. Okay, like that. Use the metronome. When you practice, so you're going to speed up and speed up and speed up and speed up till you can get it to my, you know, what did I just play? Okay, like. Palm muting also. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Now, so practice with your songs, with your progressions, you know, go back and forth, keeping that strum pattern. So if you're playing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Or if you're playing with a palm mute. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 5 patterns that I want you to learn today. Okay, we're going to start with our first pattern. This is continuous. That means it never stops. So we're just going to down strum. I'm going to down strum just an E, an open E. Okay, so get an open E, and we're just going to go downstroke all 6 strings. Down, 3, 4, 1 and 2. I'm going to play it with a metronome. Okay, stay on that beat. Don't run away from the metronome. Okay, now this is going to introduce alternate strums where we're going to play on a down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here we go, and 3 and 4 and. Practice that. If you need to repeat it, keep doing it. Third is a muted strum. That's 1 and blank and 3 and blank again. Okay, now I'm going to introduce the muted strum. I'm going down and I put my palm right on there. There's a lot of ways to do mutes, but right now we're just going to do our palm. And in fact, I'm going to turn my amp off for a second. E, ready? That's the whole song. All right. So that's a mute. Practice that and practice it and practice it. So if we're, and then number 4 is 1 and 1. That's a miss. We're going to hit and miss. Sometimes we hit and sometimes we miss. Down, you're going to hit. That's a downstroke, and this is an upstroke. The V. Down, down, and down, down, and. Notice my hand is moving, never stopping. Okay, and number 5 is also a hit and miss. Now that was a miss on the downstroke. This is going to be a miss on the upstroke. And that's the way we practice it. If you need to, go on and take a screenshot of this so you can practice it for later. And strums are so important. You can make one song, you can play, you make it sound like 5 different songs just by the strum pattern. But as you're practicing, I'm sure hope you learned something today with my free guitar lessons here on YouTube. And please subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and I'd hate for you to miss out on all the fun because we're having a blast here. This is about a guitar life. This is learning things. This is about just a whole mindset and having a wonderful time doing it. So subscribe today.